The evolution of snipers. What's up, gentlemen? Today we're going to be continuing the Battle Nations evolution series, but this episode is on sniper units. The sniper class of unit is honestly kind of underwhelming and or underrepresented in early to mid game. Then later on, it definitely picks up a bit, with some of the later units being totally insane. I would also like to mention that before starting, I am leaving out the 3 Arena Challenge snipers because I'm planning on doing an overview of all of the units from the 2 Arena Challenges at a later date. But now that we've covered that, let's start with the very first sniper unit that you unlock. That unit is the Sharpshooter, which you unlock at level 16 at the barracks for some gold and some iron. You have to make this unit for a couple missions, and when you unlock them, it's alright. It has 2 attacks, with one that you unlock by default that deals okay damage and has a nice crit bonus against infantry, which is solid. Then you unlock the quick shot at rank 3 and costs 4 nanos to research. The second attack is alright, but lacks the crit bonuses and only has a direct line of fire, so any enemy will block the attack from hitting the unit behind it, which does kinda suck. It doesn't really get much health at all either, only getting up to 105 at R6, but to be fair, this thing doesn't really cost that much to repair at all, just some iron and some gold, so that's not too bad. Overall, this unit isn't horrible, but it's not really that strong against anything that isn't infantry, so don't invest too much into it. The second sniper unit that you unlock is ironically called the Sniper, which you unlock at level 24 at the barracks after building the Spec Ops Center and costs iron, gold, and 4 to 5 bars. This unit is a sizable upgrade from the Sharpshooter, having 3 attacks that all deal pretty decent damage. The first is unlocked by default and deals a fair bit more damage than the Sharpshooter, along with a better crit rate against infantry. Its second is another quick shot, which is unlocked at rank 3 for 8 nanos, and it is pretty much the same as the Sharpshooter's quick shot, but deals more damage and also loses the crit bonus. The third attack is an anti-armor shot, which is unlocked at rank 5 and costs 20 nanos to research. This shot actually has 50% armor piercing, which is actually pretty alright. Unfortunately, with the nature of this unit with the dealing piercing damage and losing the crit bonuses, it also does fall short. The Sniper does gain more health, getting up to 190 at R6, but unlike the Sharpshooter, this thing costs iron, gold, and 1 to 2 bars to heal, which is just unfortunate. Overall, I feel like this unit could be really good if it weren't for the fact that it costs not just bars to produce, but you have to drop 40 bars on the Spec Ops Center just to make them, and at that point, when you have enough bars to do that, this unit isn't really that useful anymore. Moving on to our third sniper unit, we have the Marksman, which you unlock at level 28 at the barracks and costs 60 nanos to produce. The Marksman in a lot of ways is pretty similar to the Sniper, where he has the same 3 attacks, starting with the one you get by default that deals pretty good damage with the same 50% crit bonus against soldiers. Then a quick shot that's unlocked at rank 3 for 8 nanos that deals the same damage but loses that crit bonus. Then an armor piercing shot that's unlocked at rank 5 for 25 nanos and bypasses 50% of armor, but once again loses the original crit bonus. It does get an alright amount of health, reaching up to 225 at R6, but one major bonus it gains over the Sniper is the healing cost, where it only costs gold and iron to heal and no bars. Overall, this unit, whoa, put that gun down, it's not that serious!
Chaos Gremlin and Marksman Simp Extraordinaire Liz here to remind you, 9 out of 10 doctors held at gunpoint will say the Marksman is the greatest unit in all of Battle Nations. Now, back to you, Murphy.
I don't know where that guy came from, but do what he says. Our next unit is a bit interesting because it takes a couple steps back and is a lot like the Sharpshooter. This unit is the Frontier Hunter, which you unlock this unit at level 38 at the Frontier Recruitment HQ for 2 merits, gold, and some iron. The Frontier Hunter has 2 attacks that are unlocked by default. The first is a precise shot that deals alright damage, but unlike the Sharpshooter, it has a much higher crit bonus against infantry, where at rank 3 it basically becomes a guarantee, and even the base crit gets pretty damn high at 70%. The second attack is another quick shot that loses that crit bonus against infantry but still keeps the 70% chance base crit, which is pretty nice. It is worth noting, however, that both of these attacks actually never increase in damage, which is kind of weird. The Frontier Hunter does get a bit of health, reaching up to 165 at R6, and to heal it's actually pretty cheap, just costing some gold and iron. Overall, this unit is very interesting, and it could low-key be used in a boss strike if there's a ton of soldier enemies, and if you're out of all of your primary attackers. Now moving on, we do have a big jump in stats, and that's because our next unit is actually a promo, and it is none other than the Deadeye. This unit could be obtained between March 9th, 2013 through March 11th, 2013 for 80 nanopods at the barracks after building the Spec Ops Center, but it could also be obtained in 2 different secret vaults. This unit was extremely fucking cool. It was basically a hyper-improved version of the Marksman or the Sniper that dealt much higher damage and had way better crit rates. It had 3 attacks, the first you unlocked by default, that could output some serious damage with a nice crit bonus against soldiers and a 25% base crit, which is nice. The second attack is unlocked at rank 3 for 20 nanos, and it was a quick shot that kept the same damage numbers and also gained a 50% chance base crit. The third attack was an anti-armor shot that was unlocked at rank 5 for 40 nanos but bypassed 65% of armor and had a 70% chance to stun. But to balance it all out, it only had a 5% chance base crit. The Deadeye also had much higher health, reaching up to 350 at R6, and to heal it was similar to the Sniper, costing gold, iron, and 1 to 2 bars, which honestly isn't actually that bad. Overall, the Deadeye was a cool ass unit that actually dished out some serious damage, and on top of that, its design was one of the best in all of Battle Nations. Honestly though, just listen to the sound of it firing. The next sniper unit is definitely an interesting one, and that's because it is the Laser Sniper. This unit is unlocked at level 52 at the Optics facility and costs a staggering 90 nanopods to purchase. It has 2 attacks, one that you unlock by default that had extremely good damage and 70% armor piercing, along with having an indirect line of fire and a 20% base crit, which is actually really good. The second attack you unlock at rank 2 for 10 nanos, and it was another quick shot, but this time it deals a bit less damage, had less armor piercing, a slightly lower base crit, and a precise line of fire instead of indirect. It gets an alright amount of health, getting up to 225 at R6, and to heal it did cost gold, steel, and 1 to 2 bars again, which isn't that bad. Overall, this unit is actually pretty damn solid, but the 90 nanopod price tag is kind of a turnoff. It also gets overshadowed by the next sniper unit that you unlock, and that unit is the Railgun Sniper. This shyster was unlocked at level 64 at the barracks for 70 nanopods, and it is an absolute beast of a unit. He has one attack where he shoots a high velocity bolt and it deals crazy good damage with 100% armor piercing, and has crit bonuses against soldiers, vehicles, and just a high base crit in general at 20%. It also gets a very solid amount of health, getting up to 375 at R6, but with that comes the one major downside. When this unit dies, it costs gold, steel, and 1 to 3 laurels, which does really suck, but if you're careful with it and your hospital is leveled up, it won't be an issue whatsoever. Overall, this unit is pretty fucking insane and honestly should have been the last sniper, but ironically there is one last sniper after this. And that unit is the Assassinator. This unit was originally unlocked at level 35, but it was moved up to 65 because it is trained at the prestigious academy and costs gold, steel, and 30 prestige stars. Coming from the Railgun Sniper, the stats on this guy do not match up at all with it. It's pretty much an in-between of the Marksman and the Deadeye, where it has 3 attacks. The first is unlocked by default, and it deals alright damage with a slightly higher base crit and a 55% crit bonus against soldiers. The next is a quick shot, which is unlocked at level 3 and costs 8 nanos to research, that deals the same damage but loses that crit bonus. Then finally, an armor piercing shot that is unlocked at level 5 for 30 nanos and bypasses 50% of armor, but it has an even lower base crit of only 5%. It does gain a bit of health, reaching up to 265 at R6, but when it dies it costs gold, iron, and 1 to 2 bars to heal, so it's just like the sniper. Overall, the Assassinator was a decent unit, but it got shysted with the fact it was meant to be unlocked at level 35, and as a result of that, it gets compared to all the higher ranked sniper units where it has no business being around them. In all, the sniper class of units is a very interesting one, and honestly, I feel like there needs to be more units like this in the future. There's many possibilities of those units that we could have: the Raider Outcast, the Silver Wolf Golden Eagle, and even possibly the TF2 Sniper that we never ended up getting. These are all just examples of what could be trainable someday, but it's really just scratching the surface of what's to come. But I think that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, maybe drop a like or a sub. Also want to give a quick thanks to Liz for dropping in and saying some wise pumpkin words. But with that, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see y'all later.